I would like to call to order the regular meeting of the Concord Redwoods Board of Trustees for May 5th, 2026. Please join me in the flag honoring us for the country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to share our land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that College of the Redwoods is located on the unceded territory of the Wiyok, Pupa, Karuk, Mattole, Kalawa, Wailaki, and Yurok people, where they have resided from time immemorial. We encourage all to gain a deeper understanding of their history and thriving culture. As an expression of our gratitude, we are genuinely committed to developing trust, reciprocal, and long-lasting partnerships with the Wiyok people, as well as all of our neighboring tribes. Public comments. Do we have any public comments?
No, we do not.
Thank you. Okay. We move on to board member comments and board business. Member comments. We have member comments.
Not a member comment.
Okay. Any member comments? Trustee Bingham.
This is where we talk about our activities.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted,
You've been on board how long ago?
so I wanted to say how much I enjoyed the plant sale that was on April 17th, and there were so many people there. I was only a few hours late, but they said an awful lot of the plants were already gone. But we found some flowers and vegetables and really enjoyed exploring the garden areas. On the 21st, I listened to the government relations webinar, which I thought maybe some of our other trustees were on, but maybe not. Our regular presenter was at budget hearings, so it's mostly covered by Jonathan Lightman, and he covered the ongoing fiscal uncertainty. He mentioned that they're still looking at a $20 billion shortfall for the 27-28 calendar year. He also mentioned that the Student Equity Achievement Grant, which is the SEA, is not going to get their COLA, at least at that point in April. I don't know if that'll change, but I was disappointed to hear that. On the 24th of April, and it was a webinar from 9 until noon, it was the American Indian and Alaska Native Summit. And that was really fascinating. They had started off with joint sessions, and then they broke off into individual sessions that you could sign up for ahead of time. What I really appreciate about the joint section was the student panel that they had, and they had 3 students. And one was a student who had attended Humboldt State and also CR. She gave a big shout out to CR and the wonderful program they have here. She is interested in forestry and natural resources in Vermont. I'm not sure what tribal affiliation she was, but her name was Corrine Alton. And she wants to be able to go back to her native community and be a resource to them. I also was interested in the questions that they asked the students. One question was how to build support and nurture progress of programs for Native students. What are their dreams and hopes, and then what are their takeaways from the session? And they all mentioned basically the same thing: be persistent, don't give up, and don't be afraid to use your voice. That was neat. Sometimes Native students are a little shy about expressing their opinions. It's not necessarily polite, So then on the 28th, I listened to another AI webinar from the Chancellor's Office on integrating best practices. That was on Wednesday, and they offered a follow-up on Friday, May the 1st. And lastly, on the 30th of April, I had a ACES committee meeting. It was held mostly in person at the trustee conference down in Newport, but those of us who didn't attend were able to zoom in. And there were about 5 of us that zoomed in, and the rest were there in person. We continued planning the student trustee sessions for the conference for the new student trustees in August. We did an update to the Excellence in Trusteeship program by adding a new component, which will be advocacy. Those who are currently enrolled in the ETP program won't have to complete that component, but any new trustees that signed up will be doing that in the future. And then we did updates to some publications and found out who were reviewing the documents on fiscal responsibility, the trustee handbook, and then they're creating these one-pagers for 20 different trustee topics that include the areas such as trustee governance, 50% law, accreditation, ethics. For the newer trustees, they want to have something rather than just handing a fickle handbook, be able to have this one pager so they can just say, here, this is a synopsis or an AI checkbox kind of summary of these key areas. And there's 20 of them that will be published in the future. So that's my activity this week. I was busy. I counted it up. It was 9.5 hours.
Trustee guys.
On April 23rd, I had the opportunity to attend and participate in the CR Foundation Scholarship Reception, which was really exciting to see how many kids receive scholarships, how many students receive scholarships. Many of them were not coming right out of high school, I don't believe. And the diversity of where their backgrounds were and their life stages, and how many of them got several scholarships. It was a really cool event to be part of, and their family. It showed a lot of pride of people achieving in that room, and that was really fun to represent the board.
I will report that on April 17th, I attended the Fire Academy graduation, which was the first one with the Academy being fully accredited. It was wonderful. It was a very full class, including 4 women and a graduate last year from Dillon High School. The room was full with people attending. There were many people from fire service and law enforcement there. And the program went very well to the credit of Rachel Warsey and Director John. Very good. On the 20th, I attended a meeting on the Delmar campus with President Flamer. On the 21st, I listened to the government relations webinar. A raft of bills, the legislation is all still in process, what's actually going to make it forward to be voted on. Quite a few bills dealing with bachelor's degrees in California community colleges. On the 28th, we had the agenda planning meeting with President Flamer. On the 29th, I attended the Delmar Economic Summit, which is sponsored by the Crescent City Delmar County Chamber of Commerce. And the name of Delmar is Vice President of the Chamber. It was a very exciting day focused on economic development in Delmar County. And the well over $150 million that are coming into the county for various projects in the next year to 2 years. And that included, of course, money that is coming in from Measure I for the Delmar campus. And the name of did a presentation about the college. Some of it was about the partnerships and all that we heard from her about. And then she also talked about Measure I and the improvements to the Delmar campus. On April 30th, I attended the Chancellor's Office fiscal webinar. It was way over what a trustee can understand. Really need to know the student centered funding formula. I don't need to tell someone it's very complex. And the formula for allocating growth money, colleges following the whole SCIF formula, is even more complex. It is amazing to me that somebody can even develop a policy. I won't follow. And then tomorrow I'll be attending the CR Del Norte Strategic Action Panel meeting, which is a panel of community members who have committed to 30 months of work on this committee, looking for ways to support and bring new efforts to the college at Del Norte. I'm looking forward to that. Okay, next board committee reports. Yes, trustee Cabral.
The President's Evaluation Committee that consists of Trustee Biggin, Trustee Matthews, and myself has the results of our survey, and it will be presented to all trustees at today's closed session.
Oh, yeah, sorry. That's my biggest.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll quickly do the board evaluation. We just received the results yesterday, and we begin plan to meet before our June board meeting, and then we'll be presenting there. Perfect. Sorry, getting a little help there.
Well, we all need help sometimes.
And then, anyhow, I'd like to update you on the presidential search process. First, I'd like to mention what has somewhat become a team, and it is my co-chair, Dr. Mullery, Will, our consultant, who I believe is on Zoom with any questions, and then Jose, who represents HR, and Julie, who is our strong backup in keeping us going. First, we'd like to thank Dr. Flamer. Thank him for putting the college into such a solid position, that he has done an incredible job with us. We'd also like to thank him for his advanced help in developing the policies and procedures that we are relying on in this search process. We owe you an incredible gratitude and thank you. I'd then like to introduce Jose, who will update you on the process from the HR standpoint.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us. For my portion of the update, I briefly want to speak regarding the process report related to the president's superintendent search. I also want to acknowledge helping hands, right? Julie Gilbride has been very helpful with the process. Also want to introduce Lupita Martinez, one of our HR analysts here at College of Redwoods, and then I have one other team member who's not here with us. She's doing interviews, supporting a recruitment, Elizabeth Eppleshield. Right, and I just want to thank them for their reported work throughout this process, their attention to detail, the responsiveness, and behind the scene coordination they have been very instrumental in keeping the search organized and moving forward. The district has received applications for the president superintendent position, and their search process is continuing. Right, and as the process continues, we will also prepare a website update based on information shared publicly. So that the broader canvassing community receives consistent information about their search process and yes. Any questions?
Is someone going to update the timeline? You're doing that?
Yes, we have a schedule. Thank you, Jose.
Thank you.
So first update is that the original timeline has been pushed back. The applicant review committee has been given another week to complete their task. Then the interview committee obviously had to be pushed back a week because of that pushback. And I do need to say we owe Julie an incredible amount of gratitude because she had to reschedule 14 people, I believe, and we were very mindful of the students and our two students on the committees and our two faculty members on the committee because we realize it's their crunch time. But having pushed back those dates does not change the board dates in any way. The board dates stand as they are on the schedule, and with the recent add-on. So what I want to mention, what the strongest thing I need to talk to the board about is in the next day or two, you're going to receive an email with Keenan training. That training must be done before the June meeting. It has to be done. They say it takes about 70 minutes. It probably took me 90 minutes, but you guys are all smarter than me, so you'll probably do it in 50. It's a good training, but there's a quiz at the end, there are quizzes in between. If you don't complete that training, you cannot participate in the search process whatsoever. At the June meeting, we will be doing a 20-minute in-person training with Jose. It will be under board business and open session. So that's how we're somewhat dealing with, we have a time constraint in the closed session July meeting. And so we're trying to get some of what needs to be done in July done in June. And so that was why we actually just decided to move that training ahead of time. And the other thing is for the September dates, if you have any constraints on that during that week, please let Julie know. I know we have one trustee that can't make a morning meeting. Most likely our meetings will be in the afternoon. We haven't developed the calendar for September yet. I want to really talk about the applicant review committee. There's 3 members in the room on it. This committee, according to Will, is doing the heavy lifting of the entire search process. The members of the committee are countless hours working on this. It's unbelievable the amount of work that they're doing to help us with the search process. And the board, the board in its entirety wants to thank every member of that committee for their hard work. And the first member I want to thank is Leah Herrera, who is our student member. And she's really working hard on this.
And I'll chime in with my thanks to Professor Wendy Riggs, who is also using her faculty time to look at applications. And it is, as Trustee Dorn said, a very good job. So thank you, Professor Riggs.
Then I'd like to thank Dr. Crystal Morris. Morris, and she is in the room as well. And she's the Vice President of Instruction and Student Services. So thank you for your time. Appreciate it and look forward to seeing you on Monday.
And do we have Tatiana Robinson? Is she on Zoom or she's out and about? We need to thank Tatiana. She's an academic affairs analyst, CSEA vice president. She too is on the applicant review committee and is spending many, many hours going through applications. So thank you, Tatiana, wherever you are.
Then I would like to thank Amber Kavanaugh, who is in the room in the back smiling. I'm not sure why, but the amount of work we're doing. And she's the director of community workforce development. So thank you very much for your time.
We also have a community member who is serving on this busy committee, Mr. Chris Albrecht. He's from O&M Industries. He's the Chief Operating Officer and is also a full participant in reviewing applications for our presidential search. So thank you, Mr. Albrecht.
And of course, we want to thank Jose for all your hard work, your time, and as my fellow co-chair mentioned, your patience with all of us. It's very much appreciated.
I have another thank you.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
know it's not on the list.
Then
I want to thank my co-chair, as hokey as that might sound. But Trustee Dorn has really been the forward thinker in all this, even when he's been out and about exploring the Balkan region. He has never let this drop at all from his mind. I'm just kind of his sidekick. So he has really done an outstanding job keeping this search going and thinking ahead. We really have been thinking ahead on this, and I greatly appreciate it.
So it wasn't on my list, but I'm doing it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So are there any questions from the board?
Great.
Okay.
Good.
That's a moving forward. Yes, it is. Thank you.
Thank you both. And, we move now to status of board trustees' requests. The report is in your packet. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Okay, we'll move on to 3.4, determining trustee privileges. The policy is there as to privileges that the student trustee shall have, and then that the student trustee may make and second motions and may receive compensation as board trustees members do. And this is an action item, so
I move approval.
approval, including those discretionary ones.
I'm just moving approval to get this on the table.
Yes, but your motion would need to be specific about. That's all right, we'll discuss it, it's okay.
I seconded it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded.
So I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question.
Okay, so we do need to decide if we are including the discretionary privileges of the student trustee. One is making and setting motions, which we have done before. Receiving compensation, the same as the board of trustees receive. Is it fine with you in your motion to include this?
Oh, yes. I
Okay.
mean, I thought that was the discussion.
Okay. Is there any other comment, discussion about the privileges of the student trustee? Okay, all in favor of approving this, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. 3.5, to set the public hearing for ban appropriations limit. Again, this is an action item, all according to law. I have a motion.
I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. This brings us to item 4 on the agenda, which is the consent calendar action items. Any member of the board may remove an item or items from the consent calendar and place it under discussion. Those items would be voted on separately. Are there any items that the trustee wishes to pull? Trustee Hilton?
4.7 and 4.8.
Okay. Any other one?
4.4.
4. Any others? Okay, then I will ask for a motion to approve 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.5, 4.6.
I so move.
It's second.
Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4.4, trustee Biggin.
I just wanted to pull it because it represents such a large body of work. And I really appreciate the time that the curriculum committee has put into updating all of these. And I noticed there were quite a few new courses, especially that support our health fields. So I mean, I just wanted to bring that attention, separately from the rest of the consent.
This has been a continuing effort. We had a big report last week as well.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder.
Just a question, how long is that effort? How does it work? It looks like they meet every week, or how do you describe that? I'm just curious, I probably should know that.
Dr. Morris, would you like to address this very quickly?
Absolutely. The curriculum committee under the academic senate guidance meets every other week, so twice per month. And it continues through the academic year only.
However, what you were seeing is not normal. I think that the Senate and the curriculum committee has spent countless hours just to make sure that all the curriculum is approved that we could offer for next year. Lots of new courses, lots of revisions that were outdated and so we had to put catch up. And just the level of work and attention that the members of the committee face is tremendous and extremely helpful.
Thank you. That's kind of the question I was asking you answered. I didn't know how to ask it, but, and thank you to all the people that on the committee that put in that effort. Because
All the faculty doing all the revisions to bring to the committee.
So I make a motion to approve the curriculum changes.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Uh,
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 4.7 and 4.8, trustee Dorn.
I have the same question on both. What is special test, the tree testing and inspection?
Vice President Morrison, would you mind addressing that point?
I wouldn't mind, just in high level general, so as we work through the construction process, there were certain items and processes, and I'm gonna turn to Leslie if I'm wrong on this, that need special testing and inspections as we work through the construction process. I didn't know, Leslie, if you have something quickly to add,
Soils or steel, et cetera,
concrete.
in concrete.
So this is like a consultant?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I move for approval of 4.7 and 4.8.
Mayor, second.
second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Now we move on to action discussion items. Number 5.1 on our agenda is the monthly financial status report. It's an action item. You have a motion?
I move for approval.
I second it. Okay. President Flammer?
I don't have
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I don't have a lot, any particular additional background information, but I imagine trustee Vice President Jordan may have a question.
Okay. Do you have a question?
Yes, ma'am.
I kind of expected that.
Trustee Dorn?
So my question is the cash in the county treasurer at 1.5, that seems pretty low to what to our norm. I know we have these great reserves, but the actual cash that's in hand. And what are your thoughts on that?
So what I would add is to think about the timing that this report is through. So it's through March, which is right before we start getting our next round of property taxes coming in. And so typically you will see a lower point. I think that would be the biggest attributor to seeing the lower cash at this point in time in the year.
It just seemed, I don't remember seeing it this low before, but I may have missed it.
I think if you also were to compare to what our fund balance was in prior years,
Okay.
we are a little lower than we've typically been over the past 2 years. So that could be a contributing factor to it being an actual lower cash balance.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions from trustees? Any other comment, Vice President Morrison?
I have nothing more to add, but I'd be happy to answer more questions.
Okay. Yes, trustee Pedroia.
Yes, I have a question on the POs. So on the third page, it's got old admin form and new furniture. So that's confusing to me. It's like, it's the old building, but we're purchasing new furniture.
See, so I don't see the exact item that you are mentioning, but so as part of the demolition project, as we're demolishing the old admin and foreign building, it's displacing certain departments. And as part of that process, to have them comfortably housed in the new location, sometimes it requires new furniture. So that's what this purchase is. It's new furniture for the department that's getting displaced because of the demolition. So we're considering it.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Anything else? All those in favor of approving the financial status report, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, 5.2 is to approve the quarterly financial status report.
I so move.
I second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions about the quarterly financial status report? Any other comments?
A question about, how the summary or the report provides some of the areas of uncertainty, and how do those compare to other periods of uncertainty where we're at financially compared to the uncertainty that we're facing? Does that make sense? I'm trying to, because I don't have a long history or context. Yeah.
Because this is very, very similar to what we assumed in past years.
Okay.
However, that's like a piece that is relatively new for us is planning for the enrollment growth. We knew that we were growing, but we didn't know how uncertain the state budget is to fund the enrollment growth. Then pass assumptions. So right now we are planning for growth money. We just don't really know how much growth money, especially as it relates to the scale. And how we can calculate those complexities. But very soon.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of approving the quarterly financial status report, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next is 5.3, approve and ratify salary schedules for administrators, managers, and confidentials, all of which are in the packet, of course. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. President Flamer, any comment?
Thank you. Usually I would bring this in the summer. However, because of the end of the semester, I made the assumption that the 2.4 COLA will hold. I think it's going to hold from June and July, but I really wanted this to be discussed and approved in open session while the faculty are still here, so we don't run into a summer surprise as they do a lot of the time.
Trustee Biggin?
Thank you. The language says it's projected. So if it comes in at a different rate, will that be then the new adjustment?
If it does come in either less than 4.1 or above 2.41, then I will just bring this back to the board for reapproval at the next meeting.
Yeah, because that was my only concern, that until we know for sure, I didn't want to approve it. As long as there's an opportunity to adjust it to whatever the state,
You will.
provides us, then we would do that. I would be comfortable with that.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of approving these salary schedules, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next on our agenda is, sorry. Um, 5.4, resolution 839 for classified employee leave. Classified employees deserve official recognition for the important work of the College of Redwoods. Staff do to ensure the success of the district, to say the least. This is
I move to approve.
I'll second.
second. Sorry, okay. This is resolution 839 of the College of the Redwoods Board of Trustees declaring the week of May 17th to 23rd, 2026 as classified school employee week in the Redwoods Community College District. Whereas classified professionals provide valuable services to the school and students of the College of the Redwoods Community College District, and whereas classified employees contribute to the establishment and promotion of a positive instructional environment, and whereas classified employees serve a vital role in providing for the welfare and safety of Redwoods Community College District students, and whereas classified employees of the Redwoods Community College District strive for excellence in all areas relative to the education of community. Therefore, be it resolved that the Redwoods Community College District hereby recognizes and wishes to honor the contribution of the classified professionals to quality education in the state of California and in the Redwoods Community College District, and declares the week of May 17th to 23rd, 2026 as classified school employees week, College of the Redwoods. Any comment? All those who approve, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Nay. Okay, that brings us to 5.1. The first read of board policies and administrative procedures. The first on our list is Board of Trustees Policy 1200, the district mission, which we made a slight edit to in conversation at the last meeting. And the additional ones are policies that have been reviewed by the appropriate constituents, revised as needed and brought to our attention. Are there any comments or questions from any board members? Trustee Dorn.
I mean, I'm fine with the change in the mission, but I think that in the future, we probably should look at this again and maybe do a revision of it, especially maybe once the new president's on board. I just feel like it could be updated, some of the language changed, was my thought. I don't know if anybody else has.
Maybe not. You still could, you certainly.
Well, I don't know, I think it's more of a it's a bigger discussion than just changing words and what have you. And I just think that with the new president, we might want to do that at that time.
May I ask a question, Corbin? I'm not sure how the new president, how hiring my replacement with what the district's mission is. Maybe you could help me understand what that generation.
I just think the language might have a different slant to it. That's what I was thinking. I mean, I was on this committee when we wrote this. I
Remember?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that the language and AI and so many things have changed since this was written, that it might be good to just have a discussion more in depth about it. But
It comes to the board every so often.
right. So at that point, I'm just saying that maybe we should plan on having a discussion of it.
We certainly can do that the next time it's on the agenda.
Okay, no, that's why I said I'm fine with this time. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. It comes every year,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, these are all first read and they will be back before us. Sorry.
I'm sorry, was there a change, auxiliary organizations, like a lot of the policies seem to remain the same, but their auxiliary organizations, did something change in the law, or was it just
No, it's always been there.
we just revised some language in those?
Just a few things based on what the CCOC recommends.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Okay, moving on to 5.6, presentation of Redwoods Community College District's initial bargaining proposals to the California School Employees Association, College of the Redwoods, Chapter 509. And it's, of course, in your packet, President Klamer.
Nothing, this is just for your information.
And their proposal was sunshine last month. Okay. Okay, we move on to 6 informational reports. First one, 6.1 recognitions, President Flavor.
Certainly, I was going to mention something before Julie put something up. Is it up?
It's ready. You want it up?
Oh, I most certainly do. First, I want to congratulate Dr. Rebecca Robertson on your birthday today. But also, I found out on Friday night at the Ingemar Club when we were hosting tenured faculty that one of our faculty members is a member of the roller derby team in Humboldt County. And I found this today on a Facebook post about what the team looks like. And I would ask the folks in the room to see if they can identify where Professor Maria Morrow is on this. I'll give you a hint. She's in the back row, professor of botany, biology. And there's there, in case you're curious, she's the one with red lipstick.
Yeah.
And this shows the level of community engagement that our faculty and staff are really. Now, I will not repeat her roller derby name. I don't want that in minutes, but I do want to recognize her wonderful contribution to the community in terms of what she did. And that, and also want to congratulate 3 of our baseball players for also being selected on all conference. Javier Mesa was named 2nd team, and Xavier La Pena was also named 2nd team infielder, and pitcher Tristan Valenzuela also received honorable mention. So we have a lot going on, and want to make sure that it goes to the same so that they'll be ready. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, 6.2 capital projects update. And Director Leslie Marshall is with us. And of course, we have all this written details. Wonderful.
I did submit a written report. Does anyone have any questions other than what was submitted?
I have one question. At a meeting previously on the Delaware Healthcare and Revitalization Project, at the very beginning, there were some issues about what seemed to be excessive fees, permit fees, etc. that came up. And I'm just interested in how that's been resolved.
So we have received the tentative conditions under the conditional use permit for that project. The fees themselves are not terrible. It's only about $75 for the CUP. However, they are including additional requirements, specifically improvements along Small Avenue, the southern portion of the property, to include sidewalk improvements. Half of the roadway will be repaved, and certain storm drainage improvements as well. So we're still working with the design team and setting up a meeting with the county, hopefully this week or next, to entertain the specific requirements and design elements of that portion of the project. And we're going to continue to discuss internally what the budget impacts will be of those improvements.
Okay, thank you. Not an unusual situation in Delaware County because we have roads that are used all the time that really aren't improved. When we build a Habitat House in a certain neighborhood, it's the only house on the street that has a sidewalk. But there are.
And there is a certain section of sidewalk there that they're not asking to be replaced. It's just an extension of that existing sidewalk to tie to the corner of Eldorado.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, Trustee Murray.
Yeah, it's just curiosity more than anything else. In the community stadium phase 2, it's noted that lighting has been deemed infeasible
Correct,
because of the fault line.
correct.
Well, the fault line isn't going to change. So what do we do if lighting is infeasible?
We schedule during the day.
Oh,
Yes.
that's unfortunate. Okay, all right, that answers my question. It didn't occur to me that that would be the solution. But it's the
Always
obvious
solution.
solution.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. Welcome.
Are there any other questions? Well, on behalf of the board, thank you for the report and for having so much involvement in juggling and tracking and keeping on target on these projects.
Of course. I will mention that I did also update the website as well, so the capital projects page is updated to reflect all of these.
Good, great,
Thank you.
thank you. It is exciting to see all of this happen, in spite of lives and such.
And the completion dates are getting closer, so
Yeah,
I need to see if it's like, oh,
It's finally happening.
yes.
And we didn't have the money for the lighting anyhow.
Yeah.
It was a Company that bus. Yeah, we didn't have that.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to 6.3 athletic program cycle 2 report.
Right, yeah.
Ryan Vizio is here with us.
Right, if you can come up to the podium. Give a little background about the cycle 2 report. And our response to it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. The initial program review that was done was in the spring of 2022. And in that time, the Golden Valley Conference Commissioner, Gary Hauser, and the athletic directors from the member schools give recommendations as to the state of the athletic department. They don't always give recommendations. They give commendations and only give recommendations when they feel is necessary. As the document I submitted described, there was a few recommendations that were made. It's standard practice that in off-cycle times, every 2 years, you update the league on the progress of the recommendations that they've made. So that's what this cycle 2 report is. The standards in which they want to find if we're making progress, there's 9 different standards. As we've seen, there's constitution compliance, eligibility processing, academic achievement, citizenship, fundraising, and whatnot. Philosophy, staff professionalism, not in that order, excuse me. We had some exciting news in the addition of 2 sports, as we've discussed here before, in rodeo, men and women's rodeo, since the time of their visit in 2022. And we also made some progress in transportation, in the acquiring of 2 district vans, which have subtly impacted our budget every year, finding some savings. Enterprise, where we rent our vehicles, we're at the whim of their costs every year. So this has been a very big benefit to us in the transportation realm. Eligibility processing, we were able to hire Administrative Secretary 2, Rebecca Gwynn, full-time, which was a recommendation of the committee to help with our processing of eligibility and also the many things we have to organize as far as the rental of our facilities and just the day-to-day operations in the department. The one area that we were not able to make as much progress on was the hiring of full-time coaches. Primarily that's due to the cost of our travel expenses, given such a remote area, our operational budget. We're very grateful for what we are given every year. We try to be as efficient with that budget as possible. But the demands of living in such a rural area make it difficult to hire full-time coaches. So that's something we're still going to continue to look at moving into the future. Creative ways that we can build our programs and service our students with competitive wages for full-time folks. If there's any questions about the report, I'd be happy to answer those.
Anyone have a question?
Brian, can you speak to, how much growth that the program has seen in the last couple of years?
The growth has been substantial. We had an all-time high of student athletes in the department this year, 316 in the fall. The all-time high previous was 260 from last academic year. So the growth is happening right now. We also have an all-time high in sport offerings with 16 currently. There's a lot of kids in the building right now. There's a lot of data processing that needs to be done, a lot of sports information that needs to be disseminated. As Dr. Flamer just alluded to, we've had some baseball players with some all-conference awards that were just received last week. That's just one of a lot of different types of information that we try to disseminate to the region and our community to help our recruiting efforts to get more student athletes into our programs and as many kids graduated as we can.
Trustee Rice?
How does this report that identifies or provides recommendations given some kind of vision to go forward, how does that relate, or is it informed by the administration's or the athletic department's own views on what it takes to where we should be investing our efforts on?
Yeah. So all of the member schools in the Golden Valley Conference, which there are 7 now if you count Lake Tahoe, which really only has soccer. So each institution has some very unique needs given their geographic location. This conference is rural junior college athletics. Some of these schools vary in size as well. For instance, a school like Feather River College, a lot of their student population is made up predominantly of student athletes because there's just not that many available students in the town of Quincy. I don't know how many of us have been there. So everybody's needs are much different. I think the recommendations that the commissioner gives to Dr. Flamer reflect how we can grow as a conference and how each member school can maximize their ability to be as efficient and as dynamic with the unique needs of each institution. So the recommendations that were presented to Dr. Flamer in 2022, many of those recommendations were put into effect immediately. And like I said, in terms of the hiring of Rebecca Wynn in support of athletics, certainly the purchase of the 2 vans. And every cycle, when we go through these as institutional members, we see a strengthening of each athletic department. And when the Golden Valley Conference as a whole does well in the state landscape, that really helps all of our schools and our recruiting efforts. I don't believe Dr. Flamer is mandated to act on any of these recommendations. It's just, just trying to ensure the health of our programs.
As we plan for the future of the departments, both long-term and short-term planning, we actually look at this document to see what makes sense as we move forward, juxtapose how much budget is allowable for that. So we do have to use it.
Thank you.
Trustee Biggin?
My question is, how often is this review mandated?
So this cycle 2 report is our, again, our kind of our progress report. And every year we visit a school in the league. So on Monday, we're scheduled to visit Shasta College. and they will have their cycle 1 report, where we all visit the school and then we all make these recommendations to their department. And then their cycle 2 will be 2 years after that progress report. So our next one will be in 5 years, I believe. We'll have all of the member schools visiting and the commissioner visiting. And by that time, we'll have brand new facilities and a lot of exciting news to show our colleagues.
In the 19 years I've served on the board, I don't ever remember seeing any these standards, and I think they're wonderful. I appreciate you bringing them to our attention and sharing the progress that we're making towards them.
Thank you for having me.
Trustee Bittman.
So do you anticipate any disruptions with the construction going on and any programs?
I appreciate that question. I think that we've gone through, I think, where most of the disruptions could have been in this academic year. We were able to host soccer matches at the community stadium this year, which was very exciting. As was alluded to, phase 2 of the stadium is going to be very important, how that's administered. Bless you. In terms of when we get our football games back on site, we're planning on playing football in the fall of 2027. Kind of regardless of where phase 2 of the stadium project is. Of course, there's ADA compliance things and all sorts of things that Leslie's an expert on, that she teaches me that I need to be paying attention to. But I don't foresee any disruptions. I believe we're on schedule to have all of our indoor sports. This will be their last season, the 26-27 season in our current gymnasium. And in moving into the new facility in the summertime, it should allow for a very natural transition as we get out of the new building, out of the old buildings and into the new. So to make a short answer long, I don't disruptions.
I do want to comment, I'm glad that they got the vans because in one of my past jobs, I helped schedule, the teams, the transportation. And I just remember it's not only the cost, but maybe Enterprise, there was something that got disconnected and the vans didn't show up or, so there was a lot going on with that. So I'm really happy to see that we got vans.
We're very grateful for the local Enterprise branch because they have to service not only all the local high schools, but Cal Poly Humboldt as well. So we have to be very front-footed in the booking of all of those vehicles. And with 16 sports, we're in high demand. I appreciate your perspective on the vans. I believe they're very handsome. And the Redwoods logo being driven around the state is some really good branding and promotion for us.
Trustee Rice.
I'd just like to add, I heard from some students these were kids that were playing soccer. They were very excited to be able to utilize that facility. Everybody was very happy for that.
Me too. Thank you.
Trustee Doyle.
And what's the update on the rodeo at the county fair?
Yeah, a perfect question.
That is an exciting question.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have transitioned this event to be a little more of a privatized event and more of a fundraiser for College of the Redwoods Rodeo. What we've done is partnered with a nonprofit, Spirit of Ferndale, to help put this event on in a way that just makes it a little simpler for us to support them in the short timeline that we are trying to get this done. We believe we're making very, very good progress right now. We have the coaches being supported with staff to not only make sure that the contracts and the insurance and all of the things that we need to do in terms of securing participants are being done, but also our partners at the Ferndale Fairgrounds, making sure that they have a reliable third-party source for paying some of the contracts and the vendors. And we think this is a cost-efficient way to put the rodeo on, and with a clear understanding that this event during the Humboldt County Fair, which is one of the most exciting times of the summer, is a benefit and a fundraiser for the longevity of this program. We're also excited to announce that we've signed 2 rodeo kids just this week to the program. One barrel racer from Fortuna. And so we see growth in the population of that program. And we're hoping that, you know, administering this during the fair is going to add to the visibility statewide and just the information that we have a rodeo program that's available in our community.
Do you have comment on something that is? I'm very, very thankful that Ryan and the coaches work so closely with some interested parties in the community that did not take no for the answer. And kept pushing and pushing to get to a yes that everyone was comfortable with. And I just can't tell you how important this is to not just the CR, to our coaches, but also to our community. So thank you.
Do you have the tentative dates for it?
August 15th, it is a Saturday. The event will be at 3 p.m. It'll be in the main arena where traditionally the horse races were, in the grandstands. Yeah, that's what we're shooting. As far as the bells and whistles and exactly what that's going to look like, I know our coach has plans for a skydiver and all sorts of stuff. We'll see what that final contract looks like.
Dr. Flavor should be the skydiver.
And
That is not in my contract.
We're going to talk about that.
Well, we appreciate your support, and we're looking forward to having a great community event that benefits this program.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. I would say too that part of your background work and everything, I always enjoy seeing the social media announcements of students who have signed to play the sport. You know, I think that's wonderful. It's great to us.
Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to 6.4 Program Review Committee Executive Summary. This summary, of course, is in the packet, and we have presenters here.
Yeah, it's an extra background.
Yes, President Bennett.
That the board hears about the PRC's work on an annual basis. What I've asked Bob and Colin to do today is not just focus on what the board is seeing in the board packet, but talk about the program review process of the institution and its longevity. Because what you read in the board packet is, quite frankly, a product of years of development, of countless hours of faculty and staff in the past that pulled the institution from the brink, quite frankly, of closure because of the work and assessment program. And I just wanted the board and the community to recognize that this is not a one shot. This is built on years. And also to talk a little bit about the innovation that you project as you move forward with program review and assessment.
Yeah, certainly. Thank you. And thank you for having us today. And as Dr. Flanker mentioned, when he was mentioning to me to talk a little bit about the history, I was fortunate to recall that I was here for that history and was on the actual inaugural program review committee that was put together approximately, I think, 22, 23 years ago now, where we kind of all sat in the room looking at recommendations, were pretty firm recommendations that were brought forward by the ACCJC at that time, and kind of looking at each other going, you know, what are we going to do? And as invigorating as those conversations were, and it ultimately led to a process. That process was very prescriptive, and it was very much based off of trying to be in response to the ACCJC recommendations, and it very much was sort of a response that, you know, that I would say was a little nerve-wracking for all of us because of what the implications it meant at that time. Since that time, I haven't been on the committee for all 22 years, but I've been a part of it off and on quite a bit over the last few years and been fortunate enough to be the co-chair with Colin here these last 3 years to really see where the process has been led to and where it may be going to in the future. It is much more about not only the collaboration with all of the programs in student service, administrative service, and instruction, and the committee membership that's a part of that, but it really is become more about us doing the work to be reflective, but also be meaningful and purposeful as to how best to serve the college and the community, and not about being done because of a response to a punitive sort of measure. And that also speaks to kind of where the future is going, how in-depth sort of the conversation has been amongst all the constituents, with faculty, staff, some various committees that I'm on, that Colin's a part of, some work that's being done at the IEC, the assessment committee, led by John Pace, the institutional research, and how all of us are kind of collaborating to see how this progress has been made, but also how the progress of program review moving forward needs to be done. And I think it's really become a really healthy part of the important work that's done here at the college, which leads to the executive summary that we presented you here. This past year, we have a cycle where with the comprehensive reviews, there are instructional programs that are asked or required to do comprehensive reviews. So those 4 instructional groups did their comprehensive reviews. And then the annual reviews are based off of, they're open to all of the programs, but they're open on a basis where each of these different programs have the opportunity to report if they want to sort of share some highlights about some things that their programs are doing really well on, and also be able to give an opportunity where they can express where there's maybe some need through resource requests. Within that process, they are prompted very clearly to be able to utilize their assessment and their planning to attach that to the resource request and not just ask for something because they think it's worthwhile. So it really provides some meaning behind the request and how it's going to impact and help students. The committee then gets all of these reviews. We have a wide constituency of representation, faculty, staff members, managers from a variety of different areas. We all, Colin and I, and through the tremendous support that we also get from Sarah, because Sarah is really the one that keeps us all together with the work, Sarah Stoll. We divide into various subcommittees to be able to work through these reviews. We are intentional to make sure that, for example, when physical education or kinesiology submits a review or athletics, I'm not on that committee to review it, right? Because I'm probably a co-author of it. So we are intentional in that way. And yeah, we follow a very sort of clear standard as far as how we give feedback to these reviews, as well as how we highlight sort of the quality of the work that they've done based off of the questions that are asked in the templates. We meet bi-weekly throughout the course of the entire academic year. And a lot of the work, similar to what was mentioned earlier about the curriculum committee, is done even outside of our meetings, where we have to actually take the time within our subgroups to go through the reviews, maybe do through feedback, and then fill out our templates within that. At the end of that process, we have all of the templates that come forward. The committee meets again to do sort of one final check on each of these. And then we provide those feedback summaries directly back to the faculty members and the authors by posting them on our program review website. The final part of that process is within those reviews, we also rank the resource requests that are submitted. Those rankings aren't for us to make the determination on whether or not they'll be budgeted. It's based just strictly on the quality of how they tied that resource request to their planning. And so that it's meaningful. We give feedback resource requests. We submit those on to senior administration And it goes through their process, and currently, I believe right now, this year's resource requests are being reviewed by the Budget Advisory Committee as we speak. Okay. And then we do the final stage, which is, again, Colin and myself. I focus primarily on the instructional highlights. Colin focuses primarily on the administrative services and student services highlights. And then we provide just the charts in the executive summary to kind of tell you how we measure each of the programs that do. And that's the packet that you have in front of you today, as well as all of our committee members, which again, I would like to thank and very much appreciate all of the work that they do. Colin and I are wrapping up our third year as co-chairs of the committee. And unless we have any volunteers back in the crowd, we go to our fourth year next year. So with that, I would up to any questions and any of you have.
Any question? Trustee Biggins?
Under your overview, you mentioned that the administrative services agreement submitted reviews this year. Is that normal, or is there a reason for that?
I wouldn't say there's any reason for that. Again, the annual reviews are not required, so so it's just maybe an off year on that. I would say that, you know, if that was to occur again, maybe next year, that we may do some, you know, just some inquiry within that.
Will that also include HR? Is that under that umbrella, or is HR a different?
HR is under administrative, yeah.
I just remember in some of our older accreditation reports, there were some issues related to HR. And I don't know if they've all been resolved or not. But I would, you know, maybe in the next year, there'll be some feedback about the progress that's going on. So I know that there's really great progress going on there, but I don't see it documented.
For this year, and I think response to that would be, again, like, we've really seen a shift in how any of the different areas support their submit a review, but just like I think was in this last accreditation report, there was a lot of, instead of recommendations, there was a lot of commendations about program review and the process as a whole of how it's being done institutionally. And so we've come a long way as an institution, but yes, it's important that we continue to encourage all of our areas to submit those things as far as the progress that they have made, and because this is a great avenue by which to do it. And so again, it's, you know, it's open to all, everybody knows within it, and we do anticipate that, you know, it may just be an off year that we didn't receive any from an administrative service at this time.
The other question I had, or maybe the comment, under the comprehensive highlights, I made reference to, or I noted a good analysis of growing numbers of completion in programs over the last 4 years, that the reviewers appreciated how they spoke to the various support services. They increased flexible modalities of course offerings, and the support in assisting in building enrollment and academic success in completers. I thought that was a nice highlight to see each year.
And that was from the Computer Information Systems Program, which
and then the last area is the under overreaching themes in the program review, kind of a shout out to the Multicultural Education Center and their emphasis on the basic need support as well as culturally responsible outreach in order to improve retention among underrepresented populations. I'm really glad to see that continue to be highlighted.
Any other comment? Thank you very much.
absolutely, thank you.
Thank you.
That brings us to organizational reports. 7.1 Academic Senate. President Bernadette Johnson. Welcome.
Hi. I don't have anything to add to the written report other than I'll just mention we have a final workshop in our series, our Let's Talk series happening tomorrow. This will be the paper quilt. We've conducted this same workshop already at Plymouth Trinity. It was really a fun time there, and Del Norte has done theirs as well. So this will be our year weekend installation, I guess you could say. And that'll be happening tomorrow from 11:30 to 1:30 in the Creative Arts area. I'll take any questions.
Any questions? Thank you. 7.2 CRFO, President Eric Kramer, welcome.
Thank you, Board of Trustees, for having us on your agenda. I'd like to thank the board for the action at the last meeting acknowledging prior qualifying faculty service for certain faculty members under Education Code 87470. There have been many questions going around among faculty on this issue, particularly regarding how our collective bargaining agreement works with requirements in Ed Code. At a recent conference of the California Community College Independent Faculty Unions, also called CCI, our attorney made a legal presentation, which is a regular occurrence there, and stated that a simple hierarchy for considering legal questions in collective bargaining agreements is constitution above law above the collective bargaining agreement. This is probably the simplest basis for answering the kinds of questions we've seen come up. Regarding the faculty members who receive tenure, I believe we all should treat them as tenured faculty just the same as any other tenured faculty. Regardless of how the process happened, they earned it with their service. Our institution prides itself on being inclusive of all humans, those who study and learn here, as well as those who work here. Tenured faculty is a tenured faculty, regardless of the path that led there. I'd like to say a few things about academic freedom. Our collective bargaining agreement has a very robust academic freedom article. It acknowledges that academic freedom is not above regulations and applicable laws in the sense that there are limits in scope to academic freedom. It also clearly defines that academic freedom entails the rights to teaching without censorship or interference, examining controversial or unpopular ideas, selecting instructional materials, including readings or textbooks, engaging in pedagogical experimentation, and expressing differences of opinion on academic matters, college plans or policies, and administrative decisions. As faculty, we acknowledge that the district has significant responsibility regarding regulations and law and often has difficult decisions to make. We are fortunate as faculty to have an academic freedom article in our contract that gives us the freedom as subject matter experts to teach how we feel is best to achieve student success, as well as express ourselves outside the classroom without fear of retaliation as described in the book. Thank you, and let me know if you have any questions.
Any questions, or comments, or amendments? Thank you, all the way around on that. Brings us to 7.3 classified, President Rachel Wormser. Welcome.
I have nothing to add to my written report except a thank you for passing the resolution of Classified School Employees Week. We have some fun things planned and
Any questions or comments? Thank you for coming. That brings us to 7.4 Management Council, President Lee Dooley. Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here. I don't have anything to add to the written report, but I'm happy to.
Are there any questions or comments from the board?
I'm just going to say, I really like the photo that you included in your report.
Thank you, Amber, for the wonderful photo.
Thank you, Amber.
You all like the photos.
Anything else? Thank you. Thank you for your report.
Thank you.
And our student trustee is not with us today. That brings us to 8 administrative reports. President Superintendent Flamer.
Thank you. Speaking of pictures,
Yes.
there are two pictures that I attached. One is, of course, Dean Rebecca Robertson,
The birthday girl.
birthday person, who presented at Assestabus 2026, but also a much cleaner picture of Maria Mark, who also presented. It's really funny to juxtapose this picture against her roller derby picture as well. But I wanted to say how much that I enjoyed being in the room as they presented. It is very wonderful to know that the work that our faculty and staff do as they do assessment and program review really shows how much they are sorting. You know, it's just not the purveyor, if you will, of data. It's the fact that they're telling the story of innovation and why the work that we do as an institution, why that's important to our community. And my final comment is this is mental health awareness month. And I was thinking about that. I think that we all have a personal connection with what it means to have a family member or yourself who is not as balanced as one should be or can be. And I was reading this that 24% of Americans suffer through mental illness. And a large number of that 24%, millions and millions of young people, 18 to struggle. And I ask that our community college not just pay attention to their loved ones, but pay attention to yourselves as you go about trying to exist in a world that has so much tension today. But also pay attention to your colleagues. It is amazing that we work with people that carry so much to the workplace. Pay attention to your colleagues to make sure that they're doing well. Sometimes it just takes a simple conversation to say, how are you doing, to make sure people are all right. And so that is my comment, is that we pay attention to each other, take each other moving forward. Any questions on my board or anything else? Oh, I like that. Thank you. Nothing whatsoever. Thank you very much.
That brings us to 8.2, Vice President of Administrative Services, Julia Morrison.
Thank you. I did want to add a quick note about the GASB 103 update, and that there will be some changes on how financial information is organized in our upcoming financial audit report. Most notably, there will be a change in how the information is organized in what's called the Management's Discussion and Analysis section, or what we refer to as MD&A. And there may be some different discussion points in the MD&A than what the board has seen represented historically. And other than that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Trustee Norton.
So I was curious at your conference, the AI for administrative services. Could you just give a very brief of what you learned or what's going on with that?
So the one of the panelists was Joe Atherton, who is at Mendocino College District, and he mentioned how he has utilized AI to basically take a system-generated spreadsheet and run it through a process of organizing and whatever else they have to do with the data that would typically take a week. I might be exaggerating a little bit, and using AI to give it prompts to manipulate the data, and now that process takes hours. So that's one example of how there was some solid examples of what administrative services can do with AI to help be more efficient.
Interesting. Good.
Any other comments or questions? That was my question also. And I assume that discussion was really not the universe of AI, but AI related to fiscal management.
Correct.
Yeah. All right, that brings us to 8.3, Vice President of Instruction and Student Development, Dr. Morse.
Afternoon. I have submitted a written report with photos and talked to my colleague, Vice President of Administrative Services, about how she may also insert photos in her future reports. Any questions?
And any questions or comments from board members? I would just like to comment how really important I think the indigenous languages is, and how valuable and to our credit that the college is taking a leadership role in that in our area. Yes.
That reminds me of the question I did have. So I'm curious, I think the languages are really important, but when a student gets a certificate, what are they going to do with that certificate? For a job or or what?
There are multiple opportunities. So there may be folks who are teaching languages in our local high schools who are certified by their tribal communities, tribal leadership to teach that. But they will also can quantify it through a certificate through us that has a pathway naturally into leadership studies at Cal Poly with an emphasis on tribal leadership.
So essentially, it's all into into the education field is where they're going to advance to. They're not going to use that in business necessarily, or that's what I'm sort of asking.
So when you start the certificate, a certificate can be subsumed in multiple associate's degrees.
Okay.
Which means there's transferability into baccalaureate programs as well. For instance, our liberal arts emphasis in business degree could have a subsuming of this certificate as elective credits to meet the degree requirements to graduate from CR. That could be a segue into business. Additionally, transferring to business at baccalaureate level or leadership studies, again, emphasis on tribal health, and hearing from our Native American Advisory Council partners, the request is to prepare tribal members for leadership and business, leadership in business within the tribal communities and beyond. Good.
Thanks. I mean, I think it's a great idea. I was just sort of trying to. That's a good question. Thank you.
I have a question that's not directly related, but what is the current status of individuals becoming we don't say certified anymore, becoming able to teach language, a native language at the college level?
So in order to teach native languages at the California Community College level, they must meet minimum quals and include linguistics. And that's the baseline. In order to teach within that respective language, let me interrupt that by saying we are the first of the California community colleges to have representation of tribal languages, particularly the breadth of opportunities that are already in existence and are in progress toward the expansion of languages available through College of the Redwoods. So we're precedent setting in many ways, right? But at the statewide level, MinQuals requires linguistics or applied linguistics. But local tribal communities also require approval of language proficiency by tribal leadership, tribal educators.
Thank you. All right. That, excuse me, brings us to 8.4, Executive Director of College Advancement and Foundation. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you, trustees. I'd like to thank Trustee Rice for coming out to the scholarship reception. It was highest level of attendance we've ever had in scholarship reception, so I appreciate Jennifer Dawson's efforts on that. It's nice to fill the room. We're gonna be up in Crescent City on Friday. We're recognizing a few folks up there as well, so that's nice. We're continuing to move ahead with the Coursera car. Faculty are assisting, working on building a stand structure, so once the car is painted, we can move it to campus. So we've been coordinating with facilities on how to place the vehicle in the AT quad, so we're excited about that moving forward. Donors have already donated $10,000 to help cover any costs that we might incur in moving the car and help cover maintenance costs going forward. Any questions on my report?
Trustee Draven?
So for the legacy for President Flamer,
Yes.
there's like 3 areas we're focusing on. So if somebody wants to donate just to one area, like let's say you have an interest in sports, can you do that? Or are you keeping them separate, or is it all in one pot? And
It is set up to accept donations in any one of those 3 areas.
then the money would be spent in whatever area?
Correct.
Okay,
Exactly.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Any questions or comments?
Thank you.
That brings us to number 9, future agenda items. Are there any requests from trustees to place an item on a future agenda? We are going to move into closed session. In that closed session, we are going to be discussing public employee performance evaluation, President Superintendent, California Government Code Section 34957. Do we have any public comment regarding closed session?
We do not.
Thank you. Could we take a 5-minute break?
Thank you.